I hope you're fine. In this video, we'll learn how to sketch rectangles and squares. We've already covered most of the concepts we'll need in order to complete the sketch, including how to get into the sketching mode and how to define a sketch with dimensions and relations. We are going to sketch this diagram with the things that we've learned, and we'll also use other things which we want to learn. To create this sketch, we will go through the same two stages that we went through previously, outlining and defining. In the first step, we're going to open a new part. Then we go to Sketch. You can choose any plane you want to draw your sketch on. I pre-select front plane and click on this sketch. And now we can sketch on the front plane. On the command bar, select the drop-down menu next to the rectangle shape over here. As you see, there is different types of rectangles commands. All commands create rectangles. The difference is how those rectangles are created. These small figures also show us how to draw that particular type of rectangle by showing us the sequence of clicks that are needed. Okay, we will sketch this diagram with these rectangle commands and we'll see how they work. But before we start, this diagram can be sketched using simpler methods. However, I want to show and use these commands to learn more about this software, so I guess it's going to be a little hard method. In the last video, I understood that this point over here, this one, is the origin because it is the only fixed point. It is very important to always link our sketches to this point. Otherwise, our sketch will always be underdefined in the infinite canvas. So now we start to sketch our diagram. For the first rectangle, I'm going to use the corner rectangle. This command sketches standard rectangle at corner points. Okay, for the first rectangle, I will use the first option, which is corner rectangles. It sketches standard rectangles at corner points. First, we click to place the first corner of the rectangle and drag and then release when the rectangle is the correct size and shape. As I said, we have to link our sketches to this point. So I click on the escape key to exit the rectangle command, and when we want to select multiple entities, we have to hold down the control key. So I hold it down and click on this line and then this point, and I say that as the midpoint. And I click on this check mark, and as you see, this line is black. It means that it's defined. It cannot be moved in this direction or in this direction. We can just change its length. We can make it longer or shorter. Okay, for the next rectangle, I will use the second option, which is center rectangle. This command sketches rectangles at a center point. We click first to define the center, then drag to sketch the rectangle with 4 center lines and release to set the 4 edges. For the next rectangle, I use the command 3-point corner rectangle, which is sketch rectangles at 3 corners. First, we click to define the first corner. I click on this line, drag and rotate, and then release to set the length and angle the first edge. Again, click and drag to sketch the other 3 edges. Release to set 4 edges, like this. And again, I click, and that's it. As a last step, we're going to add the symmetry line. The symmetry line is a center line that we will be able to use to create symmetrical relations between parts on opposite sides of the line. In the last video, we learned how to create center lines. Click on the drop-down menu next to the line command. The second option is center line, and we can select it. The center line goes through the middle of the sketch, starting at the origin over here and going upward. In SolidWorks, the length of the center line doesn't matter. SolidWorks itself considers it as an infinite line, and it can be used in any size degree relations and dimensions. This is because the center line is a geometric entity, not a physical entity. This means that it has no specific thickness or length. Since we are creating the center line, note that we can move the line endpoint slowly at an angle until the vertical relation, you see, appears, at which point you can lock it on that. This is one way in which SolidWorks interprets the relations we want to apply and applies them for us. We can use this approach to make sketching faster. Now we have a sketched out line, but as you know, we need to define it. For defining the sketch, we will define the outlined shape by applying relations and dimensions. We've already added some relations during sketching like these vertical and horizontal relations, but we need more relations in order to define our sketch. The force rectangle is not actually a rectangle, it's a square, but in SolidWorks we don't have square command, and we have to make it by relations and dimensions. For example, select lines 1 and 2 and apply equal relation. This condition is what will make a normal rectangle into a square. And click on this check mark. This shape over here is square now. Okay. We said that in SolidWorks, when we want to select multiple entities, we hold down the Control key. So I press it and I click on this line 3 and line 4, as well as this center line. This symmetric relation over here and apply the symmetric relation. In this case, SolidWorks will automatically interpret the center line as a symmetry line since it is located in the middle. Symmetry relation forces two similar entities to be symmetric but the center line. You can also do the same with the other lines. So I click on this check mark over here and click the other lines and center line and add symmetry relation. Okay, now just need the dimensions. Using the smart dimensions at the given lenses so that they match our diagram, we can use the smart dimension in the same way we did when we sketched the line. We can add dimensions to one side of the center line and the other side will be the same because and they're symmetrical. So I click on this smart dimension. The length of this line is 16. Distance from this line to this line Okay, at this point, we should have a fully black shape that is fully defined. Um, Also take note of the status of the sketch, which is shown at the bottom of the SolidWorks screen over here. It is indicated as fully defined. To remove the center lines in the shape to obtain a uniform shape, we can use the trim tool. The trim tool allows us to remove unwanted parts of a shape by cutting them along a specific line or curve. When a sketch is fully closed and valid, the area will be shaded or colored uniformly. Since this video is already long, we will discuss the trim tool in detail in the next video. The trim option is over here on this drop-down menu. The first option is trim entities. I click on this. For now, we will just mention the most important option, which is the first one, the power trim. The other options are less commonly used. You can use power trim to trim multiple adjacent sketch entities by dragging the pointer across each sketch entity. I click on this and I just drag the pointer across the lines and you delete it. Okay. This part is blue. Let me see why it is blue. Oh, we deleted dimension plus 4 because I don't want to add it. So why is it blue? Oh, we have to add the vertical relation to these lines. And as you see over here, it's underdefined because of these points and this line over here. As I told you, the length of the center line is not important, but I want our sketch to be defined, so I add a normal and random relation for this line. And this point should be deleted. I can easily extrude it. And 2. Now, and this is our model. As I told you before, this exercise could be done even simpler. For example, with a line command, we can just sketch our diagram as if we're drawing with a pencil. Sketch it for you. Save lines. And we just need some dimensions and relations for our sketch to be fully defined. And with pencil, it's so easier, but I wanted to cover many essential sketching features that we will capitalize on through our SolidWorks interactions. At this point, we already have many of the sketching basics under our belt. Before moving on, take the time to experiment with creating other types of rectangles, such as the 3-point center rectangle. In addition, take some time to experiment with creating a parallelogram. We can find all of these shapes in single command drop-down menu right here. And now we know how to sketch lines, rectangles, and squares. Next, we will develop our skills by addressing circles and arcs. Thanks for watching and your attention. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and also if you've got any questions or suggestions, I'll be happy to read your comments.